for those who can't and those who have not. Warwick spoke out, sometimes controversially so. He was very opinionated. And even me, as a very good friend of his, I disagreed vehemently with some of his views. But I knew that his heart was in the right place. Warwick would even associate with individuals that I wouldn't dare stand alongside. But that was the true character of the man, in that he got along with all types and he liked to bring people together. The moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And a part of the reason why it does that is because people want to take action. And personally, I would prefer somebody who's got their sleeves folded up and is willing to get involved, as opposed to an individual who's standing by with the finger pointed. A story that I don't think a lot of people know, and I'll share with you. And it just, for me, goes to highlight that Warwick helped a lot of people without seeking personal glory. About 6 years ago, I got into a public argument with Jared Keenan Forbes. Warwick and I obviously were friends, and he knew that I'd been friends with Keenan for almost 2 decades prior to that. And he used to provide security to Keenan whenever he went to gigs. So this one time, Warwick calls me. He goes, "Seize my son. I want you to meet up with Keenan because I think you guys should talk this out." I then said, "Okay, tell him to come by himself. I'll come alone as well." Got into my car, and I drove to a Shell petrol station in Hyde Park. This was in William Nicol. And Keenan and I just sat there and we spoke, and that's how we resolved our issue. I was so grateful to Warwick for that because, one, I got to reconnect with my friend before it was too late. But two, had it not been for Warwick's intervention, I would have lived with the regret of the rift that Keenan and I had for the rest of my life. That's the kind of man that Warwick was. And so, it's with a very sore heart that I stand here before you. Because I know that there was so much more to Warwick. He just wasn't afforded the opportunity to realize it. Rest in peace, my son.
Thank you so much, Sizwe. I'd like to now welcome a colleague, a friend, Upenyuel Mlocha.
Sanbonan, Ninja. I'd like to start off by acknowledging Warwick's mother, Mama Sibonge kakhulu, for gifting us with your son and what he meant to so many of us. I think just in the last few days, if you and the family were not sure, you know how much of an impact he's made in so many of our lives, in so many different ways. To Warwick's 3 boys, I think Marvin said this earlier, your father absolutely adored you. All of us knew it. He was unashamed. In a country where we speak about having present fathers and fathers who are doing their best, your dad loved you a lot, and you guys must never ever forget that. I'd like to also thank the rest of the family, all the friends, all the colleagues, and everyone who's supporting who has supported Warras in various ways. I remember when we started podcasting, telling Warras that he needs to stop vaping. My brother vapes as well. I was like, bro, we need to be fresh for our grandkids. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna. And it's so sad today that we lose him so early, and it had nothing to do with any lifestyle issues. Warras became famous as a music DJ, a radio and TV personality, but today we say goodbye to him as an activist, a political and social activist, and as an astute businessman. I saw a clip on TikTok where an old video of MacG asking him, what will you be remembered for? And in his typical comedic way, he started off by saying, look, at my funeral, there'll probably be a lot of girls asking each other, who the F is this lady? Women loved Warras. Mama, maybe you know. We loved Warras. And to everyone who's lost him, man, I'm sorry. MacG would refine his question, and Warras would reference a teacher from, I'm guessing, Freight High, where he matriculated in northern KZN. There was a teacher that said, look, I think you are a divergent thinker. He says he used to get into a lot of trouble, not for being naughty, but for being smart, too smart. Warras was incredibly, incredibly intelligent. Perceptive, curious, incredibly curious, used to research a lot. Wise and quite articulate. I think a lot of people who maybe did not know his past fame and got to know him now were fascinated at how articulate he was about some of the issues we had in this country. He was also a very proud Zulu man who loved umaskandi. And at times when we said, he'd emphasize, he'd say, hey, my man, I'm not a Khaled. Zulu. He used to love referencing his hometown, Kwapanya. I think it's Begu Zulu in Freight in northern KZN. As Sizwe mentioned, he was a passionate patriot. He would be seen with people that you may not like. Polarizing characters that you're like, I'd never be with that guy. But he would be with that guy on both sides or on all sides because he passionately cared about this country. Arguably controversially so. He spoke out very bravely and openly about corruption, maladministration, incompetence, and he even mentioned a lot of the solutions we needed to fix this country. And I think many of the clips circulating this week have been around some of those themes. He referenced El Salvador and Bope, who had successfully cleaned out gang violence in El Salvador. And if you look at what's happened in the Cape Flats, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi mentioning a drug cartel, some of the political killings and other crimes in this country, including him now being a victim of these issues, you can't help but think about some of the solutions we need in this country where we're losing too many people, too many good people. Warras was a superhero, a real-life superhero. Caesar spoke about people that actually roll up their sleeves and don't just point fingers. Warras decided to put his hand up and try to fix things. Could have stayed in entertainment. Could have carried on DJing and just been the coolest guy that he was. But he decided that he wanted to be and he needed to be part of the change. He was definitely a braver man than most of us, including myself. And he was a real-life action man. As I close off, I would like to state that it's very difficult for myself to meet someone who the very first time feels so familiar, as if you grew up with them. Warwick's special talent was that he made everyone feel like that. Everyone who met him felt like they'd known him forever. This was the guy in school who had a big mouth. This was the guy at work who was always charismatic. And as Marvin said, even when he'd rock up late, it'd make everyone feel good and you'd forget all about it. He used to love video calling, "Hey, mngani wami," and then go on with his stories. I want to emphasize this again. Warras adored his boys, loved his mother, spoke about them all the time, and many of us were touched by his deep love for them. A constant reminder that we also need to cherish the people in our lives. If for nothing else, I hope we all remember him as a loving father, a deep patriot, a hyper-talented media personality, an activist, and one hell of a lekao. Warras mngani wami, ulale ngoxolo. We still had so much work to do, so many podcast episodes to film, so many leaders to hold accountable, and so much money to make. We'll miss you, mfowethu. I hope there will be justice for your brutal exit from this world. As I close, I'd like to say rest in peace to Kiernan A.K. Forbes. Rest in peace to Opa John DJ Somebody Sifoka. Rest in peace to Dibelo Tibbs Mutswane. Rest in peace to Marius Flam van der Merwe. Rest in peace to Papita Diokaren. Rest in peace to every South African who was and is trying to be a positive force in a society riddled with corrupt and evil people. And last but not least, rest in peace to Warwick Robert, DJ Warras, the Shady Lurker Stock. We'll miss you. Ngiyabonga.
A lot of the time when people die, I always think, why couldn't someone else die? You know, like we lose the wrong ones.
What's up, it's DJ Warras, the Shady Lurker, club DJ at all your favorite clubs in and around Josie, around SA, events, promoter, whatever you want to call it, man, the party person.
On at your tombstone, what do you write? Warras what?
Oh God, I don't know. I think I'm still putting that together. Meh. I don't know, just write a nice guy for now. You know what I'm saying?
Warras Mnganam, for the past 13 years that I've known you, you've been nothing but an amazing friend to me and to many other people.
What did Paul Tusi say?
I must be a pagan.
What did you say?
Peace.
Beloved Warwick caught the spirit of his time and fought it with great courage, then vanished in his prime.
He wanted everyone to be great. He wanted everyone to succeed.
Malamu Warras, and welcome to what is about to become the biggest thing in music television in Mzansi. Live Amp, baby.
I am very easy, so can you take me home?
Well, it's a rule that I no longer live by.
Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home! Avisha, take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home!
Take it easy, if it's easy, take it home.
Oh, my friend, phew. We had a beautiful time on Live Amp Friday nights. We were an incredible family. We stressed our producers out. And when we started, it was myself and Warras. In fact, our first episode, we did it on green screen. And I'm tall, and Warras is slightly shorter than me, and so they got a box that he had to stand on so we'd look a little even. And that was the beginning of chaos. And in one of the clips that you see here, when we came to wish him well after he'd been on Live Amp for 6 years, the longest standing presenter, he refused to be shorter than myself in Pearl 2C. He stepped back, he stood on a platform and made sure that he was the tallest on that last episode. That's who he was, always charming, always hilarious, and also very protective of us. We were in the industry, we were young, we were girls, they were boys. He always protected us from the boys. We didn't listen, and if ever we cried, he never said, "I told you so." I just passed the tissue over and tell him to listen to you next time. With that being said, I'd like to please bring on the third musketeer that we rocked with every Friday, Pearl 2C.
Good day, everyone. Good day. I'm here with my daughter Tando. She'd like to say a few words as well.
Good morning, everyone. I hope we're all doing good. So I wanted to talk a bit about being a child in the industry is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you're surrounded by brilliance, creativity, and people who live loudly and unapologetically. But it's also a curse because you grow up fast and you're exposed to more than you should be, and you often need to be protected before you even realize it. And that's where my Uncle Warras comes in. He wasn't just my uncle, he was my protector, my safe place, and my debate partner. My biggest supporter and one of the greatest father figures I've ever had and ever known. From a very young age, he always made me feel seen and valued and deeply loved in a way that I've never felt before. It felt unconditional. It never felt conditional or performative. It was constant, and he used to joke about the fact that he only biologically had sons, but he always made it very clear that I was his daughter, not like a daughter, but his daughter. And he treated me as such with pride and gentleness, and had an unmatched sense of responsibility. I knew without a single doubt that if everyone ever tried me, whether it was boys who didn't know how to act or people I had beef with, that my Uncle Warras would be there for me. No hesitations, no questions asked. He would protect me at any given moment, and that kind of certainty is rare, and it's something that I will carry on with me for the rest of my life. But protection wasn't the only thing. Protection wasn't the only way that he showed me love. He listened, and I mean truly listened. He would sit with me and debate politics and argue different viewpoints and challenge my opinions, and always respected my opinions, however. Even when we didn't agree, he never made me feel small for having a voice. Instead, he encouraged it. And in the quieter moments, he would just call me his princess, pull me in, and give me a big kiss, reminding me that no matter how loud the world was, I was always safe with him. Uncle Warras showed me that what it means to be loved without limits, to show up without being asked, and to claim people as family, not just by blood, but by choice and by action. Today, we mourn an incredible man, but more than that, we honor a legacy of love, protection, laughter, and presence. I am who I am because I am who I am, and partly because of him. And though he may no longer be here physically, the way he loved me, the way he loved all of us, will live with us forever. Thank you, Uncle Warras, for choosing me, for protecting me, and for loving me like your own. I will always be your daughter. Thank you.
It's been very difficult to try and prepare something for today when It's impossible to prepare for something you're not willing to accept. And I have not prepared anything. Thank goodness for you. But I just recently saw Warras. He was a father to her, but he was a brother to me. And I was debating the whole time, like, do I say this in public at all? I mean, he said it, but like, I don't know, somehow it was fine when Warras said things. But there was an instance where, I don't know if Caesar was on this particular one, but we went to a Castle Light gig that we were doing in Plettenberg Bay, and Warras was so afraid of missing his flight in the morning, so he insisted that we stay in the same room so that he wouldn't miss his flight. And I was like, friend, no. Then he was like, ew, man, don't think like that. You're my son. Then I was just like, Warras, that's weird. Then he was like, don't worry, friend. We're going to put the pillows. We're going to do everything. And I was just like, Warras. He's like, no, man, I just need a cuddle. I just need a cuddle. And the thing is, I was worried about what people would think of me because they're going to think, you know. But no, that's not what's happening. We're literally brother and sister. And we did sleep and cuddle, and the pillows were there. And we cuddled, and he said, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate this. I got with them. And I woke him up for sure in the morning, and he didn't miss his flight. And those are just one of the many things that made Warras special. He didn't care what people thought. He didn't care, you know, who would dislike him, who would like him because of his opinion. He did appreciate something called fan love. That was our thing. Like, he'd be like, yo, man, open the windows on the car, Pearl. We got to get some fan love. And we'd get some fan love. But the last time I saw him, he was doing yet another brotherly thing, helping me choose a car. Spoke to Nomalanga, and she mentioned it was a similar situation with them as well. And yeah, Warwick, this is still feeling unreal. And thank you for the jokes. Thank you for the political talks we had that I never agreed with you on. Thank you for being good to our children. Thank you for being good to us. Thank you for being the person who we call whenever we're in trouble and we don't know who to call. Thank you for everything, and to your kids and to your family. I want everyone to know that he spoke very highly and spoke very regularly of his entire family and how much he loved you all, obviously, especially his children. To the mother of his children, he spoke very highly of all of you as well. And even when he was frustrated, he spoke very highly of you. And I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. I'm so sorry. Some of us have had to be single mothers in such a difficult world. And I just want to say you and the kids were so blessed to have such an incredible father for your children. And I know that I choose to believe that there's another life after this, and I just want to say to the kids, I lost my mother very young. I know this is a terrible feeling. And I just want you to know that there's an everlasting presence of your parents. Once they're on the other side, they're with you all the time, not just when they can or when they choose to be. So I hope these words mean something, if not today, somewhere near in the future. We love you all, and we hope that we can be there for you as his kids the same way he was there for our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pearl, and thank you, Tando. I just have a quick announcement. There is a JAC Baki that is parked outside with the number plate KB52PTGP. Your hazards are on, so if that is your car, please kindly attend to that. You may have noticed recently on socials that Warras was on a show called Mceli Visa. So hilarious that he'd be on a show called Mceli Visa. with the personality that he had. And so our next speaker represents Mzansi Magic and Sesamo Productions, the EP, Jafta Muhlubane.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pardon me, I'm not a public speaker. I'm extremely nervous. I had to prepare this speech. So today I'll speak on behalf of the production company and channel about the moments we shared with DJ Warras on Televisa. In January of this year, we were searching for the right flair and that unmistakable X factor for our new show on Televisa. We needed someone with a specific kind of street-smart charm and a daring heart. When we put Warwick Stock on tape, we knew instantly we had found the missing piece of our puzzle. From the very first day, Warwick brought an incredible work ethic and a fierce passion to set. He didn't just host, he engaged authentically with the tough stories we were telling, pushing us to all dig deeper. But beyond the shady lurker persona we saw on screen, what stayed with us was his spirit and his character. Warwick was an intentional and deeply loving father. Between the takes, no matter how long the day was, he would call his sons just to check in. And he never ended the call without saying, "I love you, I'll see you later." Warwick was a trailblazer and a true patriot who never took the easy road. He stood firmly for his ideals and treated everyone on set with the same love and respect. From our drivers and PAs to the producers, everyone got the same warmth, same smile, and the same hug. He brought joy to the long hours and never complained once. We filmed our final episodes together just 2 weeks ago. When the news broke out, it felt impossible. We were just with him. Our hearts were shattered. To his children, his family, and his friends, we share in your profound grief. To the media and entertainment industry at large, we have lost a giant. Warwick, thank you for the laughter and the light you brought to our production. We will miss you dearly and keep you in our hearts forever. And from the rest of the crew and production, rest in peace, DJ Warras. Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home. And on behalf of Mzansi Magic, today we gather with heavy hearts as we reflect the passing of Warwick Stock. His sudden departure came as a profound shock to all of us at Mzansi Magic, especially on the very day episode 11 of the 13-part reality show on Televisa was scheduled to air. At first, we struggled to believe the news, but we have had to come to the terms with this great loss. To us, Warwick was more than a host, he was family. With every episode, he brought energy, authenticity, and a commitment to excellence. He didn't just entertain, he connected people, often encouraging couples to reconcile and discover love. His appearance on SuperSport's MVP Talent Search, Warwick embraced the role wholeheartedly, offering contestants the kind of wisdom and guidance only Umalume in the industry could provide. Warwick Stock gave us warmth, professionalism, and unforgettable Mzansi Magic moments. His legacy will live on the hearts of those he touched and the stories he helped tell. For that, we say thank you, Warwick. You will be deeply missed. May his soul rest in peace from the Mzansi Magic team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jafta. And at this point, we just like to pause programming to share a few tributes from friends and colleagues who are not able to make it and be with us today. I mean, these messages come from people whose lives were touched in different ways, through friendship, through love, really, and through Warras just being the most incredible human being he could possibly be.
Greetings, everyone. My name is DJ Savvy, the best in ever. I think I've been delaying recording this video. I think I've been finding excuses not to record this video because one has been in disbelief of the context and the content that is required of this video. Because what you mean the shady look is gone? What you mean Warras is gone? Speaking about him in late terms just does not make sense. You know, my relationship with him goes way back from my time at Y, and you know, we built a brotherhood throughout the years. You know, every time we'll see each other, it would be like, "Eh, Saben!" Like he would call me by my real name. And for some weird reason, every time he did that, it felt like a center in me. I was just always awakened by those moments. And because we both come from a flight, our relationship just was rooted in something special, that is home. One thing I learned from Stock loved these boys, man. Stock loved these kids. I think before I became a father, I just always knew that I hope I have a relationship and a bond that Warwick has with his children. And that's one thing that I can say I took from the big homie. For me, he was always like a big brother, watching him grow in the industry and just take up space and try out new things, you know, even venturing into security with his company. That was quite inspirational, you know, in the world of showbiz. You know, you're always trying to see what else can you do outside of what we currently do. So to see his story end the way it's ended, it's really hard to fathom, I won't lie. So wherever you are, Bafo, I hope your soul rests in peace. Remember the name, DJ Warras, the shady lurker. If it's easy, take it home. Thank you for everything, bro. Thank you for everything. And to the family, friends, industry, to the boys, your father loved you so much, boys. Never doubted for a second. He loved you guys so much. Yeah, for myself, I don't know. The stages of grief are quite long. I think this one's gonna take a very long time to settle. But here we are now. May your soul rest in peace, bro. Rest easy. And thank you very much, Balfour. Remember the name. DJ Warras, the shady lurker. Warwick Stock, the greatest storyteller on the radio. Man, Warwick had story for days. Like, yo, the homie had stories for days. And yeah, what an awesome oak. What a nice cheek. Yeah. May your soul rest in peace, my friend. May your soul rest in peace.
Warras Lirato. No.
Shady look.
Anyway, Pagisha, take it easy, and if it's easy, take it
home. Masambit.
Hi, my name is Lerato Khanyaho. I'm at DJ Warras, Shady Lurker, Warwick, Warra, my Warra, Unganwame, more than 7 years ago. We began our journey together on a show called Live Amp on SABC1, which focused on local artists. And I recall the first day that I officially met him, our first live show. He was just incredible. He was absolutely amazing. He held my hand literally all the way till the end. Extremely knowledgeable. What a team player. Always wanted everyone to win, especially in an industry where everybody is competing and everybody wants to come out tops or best. He wanted everyone to be great. He wanted everyone to succeed. Warras was just incredible, man. An incredible father. I have no words to describe what an incredible father he is. I can't even say was. Absolutely loved his children. We met his children from a very young age, and it's just been so beautiful to watch them grow. He was an extremely passionate individual who was passionate not only about the entertainment industry, but he was also passionate about his country. He was passionate about youth unemployment. He was passionate about just the state of this country. He was very vocal about it. And he said a lot of things that so many of us are scared to say. And he honestly will be sorely missed. Yeah, Shady Lurker, man, you've hurt us. You've hurt us truly. We will miss you so much, my brother. We will miss every single thing about you. Thank you for always being consistent. Thank you for never, ever, you've never made any of us feel uncomfortable. Thank you for always making us feel protected every time you walked into a room. Thank you for being a devoted son, a caring sibling. Thank you for being a great friend, a fantastic father. We honestly will miss you, my dear friend. Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home. I guess you're home.
Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home. What a problematic statement. But who else to say it except for DJ Warras? Friday nights, we came together as colleagues, but we became family. We hosted Live Amp on SABC1, a beautiful platform for us to all grow as broadcasters in this country. I would watch in awe at how calm and smooth he was in his delivery. Whenever our producers, Marvin or Strula, spoke in our ear, you know, live television has complications all the time. And if ever they needed anybody to buy us more time, they would never ask me. They could never trust me with that job. I would fluff it immediately. But Warras was always the one that they could rely on. He was incredible with every single guest, whether he knew them or not. He brought out an energy that was just so seamless and so warm and so fun and charming. And that's why everybody forgot when he was late. That's why everybody was okay with him being the rebel of the family. And so I'd like to bring on our Live Amp family, the team. His first producer, Strula Dlamini, and his last producer after his 6 beautiful years, Untlanhla Mthimkhulu.
Good morning, everybody. I think I'll just do this with my shades on because I've got puffy eyes. I think all of us are struggling to come to terms with Warras' passing. And I think the sentiments I'm about to share in my very short speech are shared by everyone here on stage with me. Today is an incredibly difficult day as we gather to say goodbye to a giant of the airwaves, a brother and a true friend. I spent a significant time with Warras during his final year in Live Amp. By that stage, he had been a presenter on the show for 6 years, the longest any presenter had ever been on the show. I stepped in as producer during the final chapter of his journey there and ushered in new talents, Speedster and Lemise. Our working relationship was more than just professional. It was a partnership built on mutual respect. Warras wasn't just a presenter. He was a naturally gifted entertainer. He rarely stuck to the script. He didn't need to. He had an incredible ability to improvise and read the room in a way that you just can't teach. And Marvin mentioned earlier that he was always late. And I can attest to that. And the latest he ever was, I remember we were doing an OB in Sun City. It was the Psalmers. And everyone was literally panicking, and we all had a time as to when everyone needed to be there. He literally arrived 5 minutes into the show. I didn't even know he was there. I literally saw him in the monitors, in the control room, that he'd arrived. And I was like, Warras, no, you can't do this. He was like, no, I'm going in, khuleka ntwana. And he did it, and he winged it. And that's the true talent that he was. Warras, despite the massive fame, was never acted as a celebrity on set. To him, the crew was just a crew, and what then became of us was a collective of industry professionals who became a small little family. He treated everyone with the same level of respect, from the producers, production, the camera operators, the runners, as well as his co-presenter, Lerato Kganyago. Beyond the camera, the lights and the airwaves, Warras was deeply present and loving as a father. I remember the Fridays when he would bring his young son to studio. Seeing him transition from the shady lurker to a doting dad was a testament to his heart. His children were his world. To say we're shattered is an understatement. This is an untimely passing that will take a long time to truly sink in. But as we let him go today, let's carry forward the attributes that made him who he was: his humility in the face of success, his sense of friendship and loyalty to everyone, his undeterred passion for the things he loved. Warras, thank you for the laughs, the lessons, and the legendary moments. You lived your life at full volume. Rest in peace, Shady Lurker.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dichaba Paladze, and I greet the family and the boys. I'm from SABC, the channel. I'm one of the people that got him on Live Amp. It was myself, Lusanda Ganda, Maijang, Mperwane, and VK. And the reason why we got Warras on Live Amp was his outspoken and big personality, in contrast to his height. And the first time we met him, we did an exclusive for one of the publications, and we were taking pictures in Melville. And I told everyone, I was like, guys, he's actually quiet. But I think in the moment, it was his first time, he was actually scared. When I look back. And I just want to say Warras was the one that actually made Live Amp cool. I hear the clips saying, thank you SABC1 for putting me on, you made me famous. Warras made the show. I'm speaking on behalf of the video entertainment team, expressing sincere apologies, and we've grown very closely with Warras. So we lost a friend and a dear brother. So I just want to say to everyone that this loss is tremendous to the industry, to all of us personally, and the institution of Live Amp behind me really was his family. May your soul rest in peace. My son, I love you, as he always said. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Pio Nkosi. I'm a commissioning editor at the SABC. I worked with Warras for about 6 years on Live Amp. He was the presenter. I think Pearl and Lutlove were the presenters as well. So we had 3 presenters. It was still at 9 o'clock on Fridays. And then at some point, Lutlove left, and we were left with Pearl and Warras. And then Pearl left, and she was replaced by Lerato Kganyago, and the slot moved to, was it 1800? 7 o'clock. And eventually we had to change presenters. We replaced Warras with DJ Spista and Lerato with Lamis. So I spent most of my Fridays with Warras in studio and the team here. I'm not going to be long. All I want to say is, rest well, my brother. You were a good person, and I wish a lot of people had the opportunity to experience what we experienced. Rest well, my brother. All is well. And in your famous words, if it's easy,
take it home.
Take it home.
A family indeed. So we interviewed a lot of artists, and sometimes, you know, your name, the pronunciation gets thrown around, especially if somebody's just reading the spelling of something. And we had an artist that called Warras mispronounced, and it's okay, because, you know, English is English. What was Shady Lurker on that day was Shady Luca. And from that day on, that's who he was to us. He was Shady Luca, never anything else. Forget how he spelled it and how he pronounced it. But with us as the family, that was one of the names that we used. And of course, with us always being called my son, imagine a son like me. With that being said, I'd like to please call on from the Rapt group, Gareth van Vuren.
Boys, sure, your dad spoke about you more than anything else to me, to be honest. So on behalf of us and Rapt and the Real Network, we're always there for you. You need a place to hang out, you need a place to talk, you need a microphone. We got one for you. And Auntie Bev. Yeah, Warwick spoke about his mom a lot with me. Prepared something short, just it's actually really great that it's repeated. It just shows what a man he was, that the consistency within him was quite immense. Warras had a way of showing up that didn't need big speeches, sometimes long conversations, but he just didn't overcomplicate the way that he cared for people. He just did it effortlessly. I met Warras when I was 18 years old. I was throwing parties at Wakamata, or trying to, and I needed some help. And Warras was there, even though he was the one throwing the parties on the Fridays. That's where it all started for us. And we had a couple of key sayings that I'll never forget, that he always said. If you were stressed, he would always say, "Don't stress, brother." If you were heading out, it was always, "Have a good time, be safe." Some of those words carry more weight than most long conversations ever did, because you always know that he would always be there. We checked in on each other like that. Sometimes he was the friend, sometimes he was the father figure. Sometimes I was that for him, and we used to laugh how those roles, you know, swapped depending on who needed what that day or that hour, especially over the last 2 years. That was Warras for me. No ego, no performance, just presence. He noticed people and he followed up. He always remembered. A simple, "Hey Buti, are you still there?" A random heart emoji, or a quiet, "Okay brother, let's just chat on Monday." And often just, "Love you." I think in a world full of noise and a lot of grandstanding, Warras was steady. He made people feel seen without making it about himself at all. What happened to him doesn't make sense, and I don't think it ever will, to be honest. I've tried calling him a few times since that day, because he's never missed a call, but he has now. But what does make sense is that mark I can see is left on all of us. If we honor him by doing anything, I think it should be this. We need to check in on each other, we need to show up for one another, and don't wait to say the things that matter. Love you, my friend. Rest easy.
Thank you, Gareth. So 2 weeks ago, I was lucky, I didn't know at the time, to be in the same space as Warras. He was one of the moderators at a Momentum event, and we sat and I interviewed him, and I was so proud of how we'd both come so far. I was sitting on a drive time show interviewing me, him as a moderator. It was a beautiful reunion, and little did I know that would be the last time I saw him and had a conversation with him. And I'd like to now, for us to cross over to a tribute from Momentum.
I met Warras earlier on in my career. It must have been in 2009 when I worked for a popular beer company. And then I was recently reintroduced to him in May of this year by our Group Chief Marketing Officer, Unotokozo Madonsela, who sent me a piece of riveting content, which was a conversation that Warras had on a podcast on YouTube. We were immediately drawn to his fun, energetic delivery. He really is a remarkable storyteller, and we invited him to be part of an event that we host every quarter for about 150 to 200 marketers called M-Connect, and we asked him to be the guest speaker. He, arrived at our offices. I wanted to brief him directly and personally to make sure that he understood the brief and he understood the theme, and also that he was really just able to just tone it down a bit, because there was a lot of cursing in the podcast that I saw. So I wanted him to make sure that, he really understood the audience that he was going to be speaking to. So we arrived at our offices at the Mark, and his big, energetic, fun personality burst into one of our boardrooms. And I thought I was in control. I was the one who was going to brief him. But I soon realized that Warras just was not going to have it. He immediately took over the entire conversation. I don't know how many times I had to actually say to him, Warras, just listen to me. We only have an hour, for me to brief you properly, just to make sure that you really understand what is the job to be done. He took us down, a trip down memory lane where he shared his entire career, the many life lessons, that he has had throughout his career. And he really left quite a mark on the audience that was there. So much so that we actually invited him back to Momentum, and he was part of our Science of Success Festival recently on the 14th of November. He was a moderator for one of our masterclasses, and again, he was so professional. He was just so relatable, and he was really able to just connect with the audience. One of the things that I really am going to miss and remember about him is just how fun he was. Warras didn't care about titles and who you were. He just connected with everybody. The one thing that he kept saying to me that day, I think the minute he saw me, was, "Yo, Kawe, you make up yako, ingati, you're a slay queen." And I mean, our entire marketing, community at Momentum is deeply saddened by Warras's passing. We are still in shock. When we heard the news on Tuesday, I called my digital content manager, and he was actually in studio editing a piece of content that we shot with Warras only last week, on the 9th of December.
I mean, the best way to remember Warras is him walking into any room. Whether you're an exec, whether you're a junior, you'll always get the same Warras. You'd step into the room, "Exe bafwetu," say "Exe Wara," and I think the one important thing that I've taken from working with Warras on multiple campaigns, especially this year, is you always have to show up as your best authentic self. And it's that authenticity that will light up the room for you. And he will always say that, me, I'm a one-take wonder. He did his one take, and it was a wonder.
We really want to just say to the Stock family, we are really sorry for your loss. Warras was really a kind, a warm, professional, remarkable storyteller. He touched a lot of lives while we worked with him at Momentum. He will be remembered with a lot of love and a lot of respect. And we really just want to extend our condolences, our deepest condolences for his loss. I think for me, the most important part is, his legacy and his life will live on through the stories that he told.
So since you vlog, one day when you expect that investment to mature, something. So tune in, check it out. I'm Warras the Shady Lurker. Yeah, I'm sure you see a she's on, but yeah, so that's the vibe, fam. For weddings, funerals, and shoots, I have to clean up. There's no other way. This is a go do.
I think we should start.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are. As you can see, I already have.
And then there was the Shady podcast with Warras and, of course, Madabs. They called each other Mpati. I'd like to please welcome PH, a friend and a business partner.
I'm gonna need this. I see they've given me 5 minutes to talk here, but I think that's literally just my intro. To all of Warwick's mothers, Auntie Dawn, Auntie Ursula, Auntie Marcella, and to the woman who had his heart, Beverly Stock, his mother. His loving sisters, Nicole, Lyndall, Maxine, and Nadine. To my lighties, his lighties, Ethan, Kian, and Troy. Troy apparently had a million names, so Warwick used to call him Alice. And to the kids, your loving moms. To Rio. To Warwick's aunties and uncles, cousins who have traveled far and wide. His extended family, close friends, industry peers, his security family and circle, his loved ones, those we knew and those Penwell had said it earlier that man was loved, so shine to those ones that we didn't know. Warwick. To the dignitaries that are here, to those watching at home, to the media at large, and to everyone else who will watch this at a later stage, I greet you humbly in the name of the Heavenly Father, His Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. My parents named me Pindutobe, a name which Warwick successfully chose to butcher at every single opportunity, and instead called me the following names. My son, Nikalam, Azad Puti, Blood, my dog, my want, my doob, because he'd butcher my surname as well. Or Mpatiwam, if he wanted something from me. That's what I knew. And on the odd occasion, when we didn't see eye to eye, which was never, he'd call me your knob, and unfortunately, your puss. again, depending on his mood. To stand here today is something I never thought I'd imagine. Something that still feels like a horrible joke that Marv would tell. And something I'm yet to make sense of. Something all of us are yet to make sense of. However, standing here today, taking account of everything that has been said about Warwick, it gives me great honor to speak about my friend, his glorious years, my journey with him, and his infectious energy that he brought everywhere he went. We are gathered here today. It's funny, when I was writing that, I said there was no chance we'd ever hear we are gathered here today to witness the marriage of, sorry. We are gathered here today not because we want to be, but because love demanded that we show up for one of our own. And if there's one person that did that, it was Warras. And if there's one person who understood that deeply, it was Warras. He showed up fully, loudly, with a heart, with humor, with intention, even if he was on empty. I met my dog in 2009, I think, or 2010 in Cape Town. There was this terrible trio, Warras and Twins on Decks, terrorizing the streets. I met Warras in Cape Town, and I didn't know then that I wasn't just meeting a colleague, I wasn't meeting a co-host, I wasn't meeting someone that I'd do business with, but I was meeting a brother. It was one of those friendships that didn't need explanation, it didn't need any effort, and it didn't fade with time or distance. One of those rare connections that grows quietly, steadily, and until one day you realize that this person knows me. He knows my life, he knows my wins, my failures, my silences, my losses. And of all of those things mentioned, he remained the honest person that I expected him to be, and that I knew he would be. It's been said by a few people here, and I think largely known, that Warwick was fiercely patriotic, loved this country. He loved South Africa so much that it angered him and it frustrated him when things wouldn't go according to the people's needs. He loved it enough to question it, enough to demand better from it. He believed accountability was not optional. Whether it was government, systems, leadership, or people in power, Outiam did not let nonsense slip. And the thing is, when he spoke, you listened. Yeah, that guy. Because he wasn't loud for the sake of noise. He was well researched. It's been mentioned here by a few people. He was prepared. He was well articulated. You could hear that this man has done his reading. He's watched whatever documentaries, whatever interviews, and followed policies and checked facts. Unfortunately, or fortunately for some, many of us learn things unwillingly. You'd ask him one simple question, "Hey, bro, what's the time?" And it would come with some sort of lecture because he was so well knowledged. You'd ask him a simple question and suddenly you're getting a full briefing on security protocols, crowd behavior, risk mitigation, and why your event layout was a problem. You'd think you were having a casual chat and somehow end up knowing more than you planned to, whether it was about broadcast, pop culture, whatever industries Warwick was a part of, he knew it top and down, top to bottom. He spoke with passion, but never from ignorance. And that made him so powerful. Where's Rio? Rio. I know much about fashion and e-commerce because of that guy. He spoke highly of you and what you guys were building and working on. Whether it was the camera angles that he would take 1 million shots of, and I know I saw 1 million of those photos. He also spoke highly of the stress that you brought to him. He spoke volumes. But he spoke about it with passion because he wanted to get it right. He wanted to be the best because he knew you had more in him. Nah, don't cry now, I'm gonna cry. He knew that you had more in you. If you guys ever argued, it came from a place of passion because that guy really loved you. My dog also had this rare ability to make people comfortable in whatever environment. Whether you were a CEO, a runner, a technician, an artist, a security guard at a complex, or someone just trying to figure out life, he met you where you were. No ego, no judgment, just presence. Ebe out, mjita, a true gent. I'd seen it in many places that we worked in. I was fortunate enough to witness him operate at Live Amp. I was sometimes a guest VJ there, whether it was upon his request or the team's request. On his late arrivals, I think I inherited that habit at TRN. I'm sorry to the entire team. Guests always arrived before us. And some way, somehow, when Warwick walked in, I would greet with respect, but Warwick would change the mood. Warwick would change the mood in the office. And if we're being honest, sometimes that guy had you laughing even when he was correcting you. And this is where that word "poes" would come in. You'd realize halfway he's laughing at you, and he'd say, "My brah, I'm smarter than you. Don't, you know? I'm not just a handsome face." That guy was a genius. He was a lot of things. And he meant a lot of things to a lot of communities. To his communities, I want to say this. Your grief is valid. Your pain is shared. You have not lost him alone. He belonged to many spaces, many circles, many people. And in that, there is strength. Lean on each other, speak in his name, and carry his values forward. To his mom, Auntie Bev, thank you for giving us a son who gave us so much of himself to the world. The Bible says in Proverbs 22, verse 6, "Train up a child in a way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." What we saw in Warwick was your foundation, and he lived it out daily. To Ethan, Kian, and Alice, Troy, in the flesh, you have lost a father, and that pain is real. But please know this, you have gained a community, a village, a network of people who loved your dad deeply and who will show up for him whenever, like he did for us. You're not alone. To the security cluster in the community, a soldier has fallen, a protector, a leader, a man who spoke with true intention and volume, a man who understood that security is not just about force, but about responsibility. His absence will be felt in every space where safety mattered. We did a couple of events together, and of the many stresses I had in the event space, I knew security was not one of them. Although with stress, when someone got a boost clap because I was like, oh my God, PR. Who's going to put a press release for us? But we sorted those bros, they were trying to steal phones. Shy at them. But he did that because he wanted to see my brand grow. To the broadcast industry, Warras has switched off his mic and hung up his headphones. But may his voice, his standards, and his push for positivity echo long after today. May the change he spoke about be realized, even if he doesn't get to see it in the flesh. To Wrapped and to the Real Network, we lost a real one. A fixer, a problem solver, a comedian in the corridors. The guy who made work feel human. Our halls will be much quieter, but the foundation is stronger because he was a part of it. To the public, to those who knew him closely, and those who knew him from a distance, grieve, reflect, and honor him by being more intentional, a little bit more accountable, and a little bit more kind, and lastly, very patriotic. Ooh. I wrote a long speech because I was hoping it wouldn't end. And with somewhere he would pop out and say, I'm my aunt, being glad. But here's the part which comes to finality. From me to everyone here, thank you for showing up. Thank you for loving my dog. Thank you for carrying him with dignity. They say, umtu ngumtu ngabantu. It's true when it comes to Warras, and I saw it this week. To the venue that we are here today, I have no words to describe what you have done, how you have put this together at the last minute, at the very last minute. May the team working today, the venue owner, and your extension, your network, be abundantly blessed. Warras is for the people, and I see it today. Damn, here's this part. You know, I'm not one to wallow in emotions, but there's one emotion that has popped up in the week of all the business of organizing the memorial and, of course, the funeral. And that feeling is sadness. Why am I sad? On our last episode of the podcast, we were wrapping up the year and spoke about intentions for next year. And we had planned to revive Warras' DJ career. We had a solid plan. We had a name, and that name was Gojiro. I honestly argued with that name. I was like, yo, this ain't gonna get out the hood. But he loved that name. I think it was after a character, yeah? It was after some sort of character on, but he described it. But I was just like, dog, we're not getting out the hood with that name. We had a solid plan. We had come up with a new name, Kochiro. He would send me half-finished songs and saying, this one is taking us to Ibiza. Send me Coffee's number there. He needs to make a plan for us. That man's booking us next year. This one is the one that's going to take us out the hood. It makes me sad, Gojiro. But I'll make sure those songs are finished and they're played in Ibiza. Warras, my dog, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your loves. Thank you for your lessons. Even the lessons I didn't ask for. Thank you for rocking with me, my bro. Rest easy, champ. Your work mattered, and you will never be forgotten. Don't worry, we'll be the ones puzzling. As I close, I now say to you, You take it easy, you puss. You're home now, my dog. You're home. I love you. I love you, dog.
I'd now like to please call on behalf of Gagasi FM, a colleague and a friend, Unomalanga Shosa.
Thank you, Lut. I'd like to start off by just greeting everyone in the mighty and matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'd like to greet Auntie Beth, the Stock family, Ethan, Kian and Troy, Ethan and Troy's mom, Kian's mom, and Rio. It's not going to be long. My story with Warwick began in 2019, but when I officially met him on a colleague basis, I confessed to him that in 2012 I got into trouble because I heard there was an I-Beach explosion in Margate. I'm from Port Shepstone. And I was in matric at the time, and live amp was the hottest thing. And I heard that Warras, the Shady Lurker, and Lude Love would be doing like an OB, an outdoor broadcast there. So they were doing live amp from the I-Beach explosion. So I took my clothes and I put them in my bag and I jumped out of my mother's window and over the fence. And I was rolling with some other brews in the gullies. And I found myself in Margate because I wanted to get so close to them because I didn't ever believe that my dream would be that close to me. Because when I looked at them, I saw my dream. And Warras was wearing this checkered shirt and it was buttoned all the way to the top, and they were doing a link after Kelly Kumalo's performance, and after Donald had taken off his shirt on stage with his mic. And I ran to him and I said, Warras, I love you so much. And he said, I love you too. And then I told him, when I met him on the show, because we did a show together called That Drive on Gagasi FM, I said, you're a friend, I won't lie, I had a crush on you, eh? He said, of course you had a crush on me. I'm Warras. Everybody has a crush on me. And he wasn't wrong, because I have a lot of friends who had a crush on Warras before they even saw his face, just by listening to him on the radio. So when we started working together, I was very, nervous because, first of all, it's the Drive Time show on Gagasi FM, and it's a really big slot. And I remember in our first episode, we had to call DJ Fresh and thank him because he was the reason we got that show. He knows why. And what I said, Nomalanga, this is also my first time in KZN. And the thing that surprised me the most about Warwick was just how much he loved KZN. I didn't know. I knew him as, Warras Stock, the colored guy who spoke his Zulu. But when you see that, you think it's just a selling point. You think it's a USP, like it's the ticket, it's the thing that makes it stick, right? But it was so authentic because that's where he grew up. That's who he is. It's a part of who he is. So a lot of the features on our show had a lot to do with paying homage to KZN. And I stand here today representing that demographic of people that he loved so very much and that he wanted to bring up and encourage and show them that they too could also break barriers and be more than just one thing. I think another thing that was very surprising to me about Warras, and I don't know why, was just how intelligent he is, right? And I knew that for everything I wasn't, he would never expose that. Instead, he would always encourage me and mentor me. So more than my friend, more than my colleague, and more than my and Chulisa's godfather, he was my mentor. I come from the school of Warwick Stock. whenever we would get into trouble all the time. Yo, I remember the one time we had a campaign that we were doing on the show, and we both mistakenly thought bi-weekly meant as in twice a week, which it does, right? It does, right? So the competition mechanic was bi-weekly we would give away 5,000 loaves of bread. So then we said, oh, bi-weekly, that means 2 times a week we're giving away 5,000 loaves of bread. So the first week went, we did the competition, we gave away 5,000 loaves of bread, the first show, the second show. The third show in the following week, we gave away 5,000 loaves of bread again. No one picks this up until the fourth show. And now, the sales team and everyone is like, guys, we've given away 15,000 loaves of bread already. We weren't supposed to do this until, the next month or something. And we were like, yeah, you guys said it was bi-weekly. They went, no. They said, no, we meant once every other week. So this week and the next, so 2 weeks in the month, you are giving away 5,000 loaves of bread. Now we're in trouble because we owe 15,000 loaves of bread to these winners on the show. And unfortunately, the company said, well, you're going to have to pay for it. And then Warwick said, no, it doesn't work like that. There's a whole value chain. And we're at the end of this value chain. So the people who are supposed to fact check this, everyone come, meeting. He calls a meeting. All of Exco, it was a mess. And I'm here to say that because of Warwick's dog, we found another way to pay back the 15,000 loaves of bread. We didn't actually have to pay it out of our pockets, but that was just the man that he was. I walked into every DJ meeting, every Snoop. A Snoop is a session that you do after a show where you listen to the show and then you critique everything that happened in the show. I walked into every one of those meetings with my head held high because I knew that Warwick was my first line of defense and my last line of defense. And for everything again that I couldn't do, he would do 100,000 times and then teach me how to do it as well. And I just want to commend the man that he is, because like Lutlaf said, Warras protected all of the women that he worked with so much, and not just women that he worked with, he protected women and he loved and respected women so much. And so I consider him the standard in this industry for any and every relationship that I have with a male who's in a senior position than me, or anybody actually, because he truly, genuinely saw us as sisters and he treated us as such. And beyond just colleagues, we became family. Like I said, he's my Ine's godfather. His sons are my sons, and I am his son, and I am going to miss him very dearly. I will miss him dearly, and I know that we all are going to miss him dearly. And I just want to echo the words of Marvin when he came on and he spoke about how Warwick was so good at making you feel like you were the only one who mattered in that way to him. And standing here and listening to all of these stories, I am so proud of who he is, because he shared all the love he had in his heart so freely and so willingly that we all thought it was such an individual thing. And sharing my story about how he was, I needed a car. He was trying to get me a car. So he's like, hey, Chomi, here's the spec. I said, hey, Chomi, show me the spec. He shows me the spec. I said, not this one, Chomi. He says, why? I said, it's manual. He says, so? I said, Chomi, I can't drive manual. He says, Numananga, there's no way you're not going to buy this car because it's manual, okay? Rather tell me you don't like the car. I'm coming to your house now. I'm going to teach you how to drive manual. This man came to my house at midnight and we drove around the streets of Bryanston because I didn't know how to drive a manual car. And it reminds me again of another story when we had to do our show in Durban, and I hired a car at the airport, and I didn't know that some cars you have to switch the lights on in the car. So now I'm driving in the dark. I'm like, friend, I can't believe Ava sold me a car, or like, let me hire a car that is broken. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, friend, the interface is off, the lights are off, I can't see anything on the road. He says, no, Malanga, please park to the side. I park. He says, please look to your right. I look to my right. He says, turn that knob, you knob. I turned the knob, and then the lights came on, and I said, oh my God, what am I ever going to be without you, Warwick? Because anytime anything went wrong, you were the person that we all called, all of us. Anytime anything went wrong, you were the guy, and you showed up. To his family, Mommy, thank you so much for sharing him with us. Thank you so much for not keeping him to yourself. To the industry, we've lost a giant. And to every young person who wants to join our industry and who wants somebody to look up to, Shady Lurker was the guy to look up to. He is the guy to look up to. We still have that teacher. He's readily available for us thanks to the Real Network and the Shady podcast. He's still available to us thanks to all of the incredible podcast episodes he's done on other shows as well, and also just the stories that we're going to continue telling on his behalf. It doesn't feel real, but anytime I open my phone and I look at some of the videos that he would send me at whatever time in the morning, just laughing about something, I know that he's not really gone. So with that being said, our industry is poorer without him, our country is poorer without him, and we can all learn a thing or more from the smartest man in every room forever. Warras, Warwick Robert Stock. Thank you.
Warras was more than a statistic, more than a headline, more than how he passed away. Warras will forever be known for being outspoken, for being brave, for standing up in what he believed in. And that is something that we have to continue doing to honor his legacy, is to be brave, to say what it is that you feel, no matter how it may be interpreted, and to truly, truly represent your most authentic self at all times. Rest in peace, Warras.
Brother Warras was a celebrity of a most unusual kind, with a patriot's fierce heart and a truly brilliant mind. He stood for truth and justice, a man both brave and bold, a story of a warrior that now just must be told. Warras had the highest standards of anyone about, a moral, fearless compass in a land of fear and doubt. He saw no race nor color, just the brotherhood of man, believed in building futures with a kind and loving plan. A capitalist with a conscience, a man of faith and might. He fought for what was righteous. He fought for what was right. He loved sport, guns and music, Shady Lurker's DJ art. A man of strength and humor, but with a generous, loving heart. But where he most excelled, or so it seemed to me, was in his fearless vision for our country to be free. He'd call out ANC corruption with a voice both clear and strong, and on his many podcasts, call out the country's wrongs. He carried steel to guard his own against the coming night, and never ever backed down from a just and noble fight. I think of our last phone call, just a day before his end, the final words he spoke to me, my brother and my friend. He talked of saving our country, a dream, both real and deep, a promise that his spirit will now forever keep. Let's go into the townships and listen to their pleas. Let's find the real solutions and set our people free. We have to build a future where every man stands tall. That was his final mission, his final urgent call. I'll miss him for his energy, his forthrightness and wit, his generosity of heart, and all that flowed from it. I'm glad he had his children and his many special friends that kept him strangely tender and loving to the end. Indeed, beloved Warwick caught the spirit of his time and fought it with great courage, then vanished in his prime. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye, my brother. I love you forever.
To Warras' family, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for letting us walk this journey with you today, for opening yourselves up to us, for letting us surround you with love. You're not alone, you never will be alone. And I'd like to please welcome, on behalf of the family, Warras' sister, Nicole Stock, and Paul Baladon, cousin.
Jason, can you also come and join me if you don't mind? Lyndall, Maxine, where you are? Where's Jason? Leanne, you're not gonna hide. Please come. Auntie Urshi, I know I'll try not to be too long. While Leanne makes her way up. This is so real, you know, the real network, this is real. And as I'm looking at his pictures, it's like he's just looking into your soul. Warwick was the epitome of love. He was the manifestation of love. He was love in flesh and blood. And I realize it now today that he never belonged just to us, but he belonged to a country, he belonged to a nation, and he belonged to the people. I want to open with the scripture in the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, except to be just, and to love, and to diligently practice kindness, compassion, and to walk humbly with your God, setting aside any overblown sense of importance of self-righteousness. And that was Warwick. I'm not his only sister. This is his family behind me. I'm the oldest sister. Leanne is the oldest. I'm the next one. Nadine's not here with us. She's in the UK studying. So Nadine, we haven't forgotten you. You are here with us as well. And I know that Warwick loved you all. May God have mercy on our nation. Today a nation exhales a grief it did not know how to name. And I need to say this without apologies. I'm very, very angry. I haven't had an opportunity to really cry. I've had to keep it together because he would want me to do that. I'm angry, I'm so angry because Warwick was taken away from us too early. And this is not where his voice should have ended. This is where it should have been loudest. This is where it should have been standing, not me saying the things that made people uncomfortable, asking the questions that exposed us, loving people even when they did not know how to love. That was Warwick. He was not a neat man. He was a divergent thinker. Thank you, Ethan, for that. He thought in layers, not lines. He loved big words because small ones were never enough to hold what he saw. And what he saw, what many of you heard through his podcasts, through interviews, through street conversations, through social media, was a country standing at a crossroad and refusing to admit it. In the public space, he spoke about race and culture, about politics and power, about our history and where we are going as a nation. He did not do this to divide. He did it because pretending we are healed while we are bleeding is the most dangerous lie of all. He challenged not only what was right or wrong, but whether we had the courage to execute and follow through. Words without action meant nothing to him. He was loyal to the people, not factions, not parties, not tribes. We saw that loyalty not only in what he said, but in how he lived, in his acts of kindness on the street, in the sensitive topics he refused to avoid, in how easily he spoke to anyone. Everyone was family, everyone was a friend. It was almost impossible to hate him, even when you disagreed with him, because you always knew his words came from a place of truth-seeking, not power-seeking. He admired leaders, but not blindly. He respected those who spoke truth and acted on it. For him, it was never about slogans. It was about follow-through, about whether leadership served people or fed itself. Many across this nation today, you all know who you are. You argued with him. You shared his clips. You criticized his tone. You repeated his questions. And today, he asks us still, do we sit in silence or do we stand? This is not about having a public platform. We all have one now, our phones, our voices, our choices, and yet we use these tools to break instead of build, to perform instead of see. Are we reporting what feeds the self, or are we seeing people the way we see each other here today? Warwick saw people. He saw every one of us. There was nothing different. Whether you were a king or a homeless man in the street, you were a person. He knew security guards by name. He knew public servants who risked their lives daily, and he respected them because he understood that service is not the enemy. He spoke openly about crime, about what is happening on the ground, in the streets, about justice that must be served. Not because he loved authority, but because he loved life. He was very vocal about guns because he loved guns, about how easily they turn anger into death, about how quickly a moment becomes permanent, about how a weapon in the hands of evil does not just kill a person, it destroys families, futures, and generations. And today I must say this plainly. It was a gun in the hands of evil that stole my brother and that stole our brother. He spoke about this very reality, about how death moves faster than healing, how violence is normalized while accountability is delayed. He did not glorify force, he grieved it. Too often we see color before character, culture before conscience, oh sorry, now I'm sounding like a politician. Conscientious. History before humanity. We choose to divide. Warwick chose to love. And let me be clear, love is not a warm, fuzzy feeling. Love is pain. Love is suffering. Love is sacrifice. Love is selfless truth. Love is the willingness to stand and even die for your brother, your sister, your people. That was Warwick, your ride or die. Every phone call, as we've heard, the consistency in his inconsistency is I love you, because he meant it. Not possession, but freedom. He used history to point out cycles, not to trap us in them, but to warn us. He believed we don't break, we build, we learn, we grow, we strengthen. We are not only South African, we are African. And yes, I am very, very, very angry. Angry because this is what he should be saying. Not being reduced to headlines, not being judged only by his sharpest moments. His passion spilled over sometimes, his words cut, but they cut because pain was speaking. I knew he was hurting deeply. Our last conversation on Friday was extremely, extremely painful. And that's how I have to remember Warwick. That is why he rose every day to fight. He fought with men he worked with and still loved them. He fought with the women he loved and still loved them. He fought negativity from social media, from the street, and still loved the people behind it. Yes, he was one man, but we are people We are mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters. Blood does not make us family, seeing each other does. Not religion, not culture, not color, not politics, people, someone's child, someone's parent. He was burdened within. He expressed himself, but did we really listen? My last phone call was a cry, and I had heard too many times, but this time it came out in Zulu and Zulu alone, and my daughter was listening and couldn't understand why he didn't want to speak English. His pain was real. And this is where time shows its cruelty. Time belongs to no man. It does not pause for love, nor bargain with grief. Time belongs to no man, yet it took what I was not ready to lose. No reason, no fairness, no return. So I gather with what remains, memory, echo, unfinished laughter, and carry them outside of time, where loss cannot touch them. It moves forward, unaware of who it leaves behind, unaware of who it takes. Some are given years, and some are given only moments. He leaves behind a mother who loved, shaped the courage in his voice, whose strength carried him long before the world knew his name. Boys who will grow with his fire in their blood and his questions in their minds. And friends were never just friends, but brothers and sisters by choice, by loyalty, by standing shoulder to shoulder when it mattered. To the woman he loved, who saw the tenderness beneath the intensity, who knew the man behind the message. You were family, not chapters, not footnotes, but witnesses to his humanity. Today we do not gather only to mourn what was taken, but to celebrate what remains unbroken. The truth he stood for, the love he lived, and the courage he demanded of us all. His life was not a whisper, it was a call, and that call still stands. To my African family, if we see each other, we are one flesh and blood. No parent should be bearing a child. No child should be left to the evil outside until we confront the evil within. It is easy to point fingers, but today blaming did not save us. We lost, and we lost our brother. He had time for strangers, time to unpack why he was there, time to ask why people squat on land with no sustenance while abundance rots elsewhere. He saw lack, but he also saw excess and asked us, what does that say about us? To the investigators and officers, thank you for doing your job. I believe in justice, because recognizing evil does not mean becoming it. My place is not to destroy, my place is to build. Warwick was not perfect, no saint, but is there one of us that is? No, let love lead you. Let love carry you. Do not chase comfort, but chase the discomfort that makes us grow. And that's what Warwick did, day in and day out. He feared no man, but I know he feared God. He joked about death because he understood life was never owned, only carried. Viva Amandla, my brother. To a country that has lost a brother, we mourn together. I, Nicole Stock Mabuza, take up your baton. I choose love, I choose truth, I choose your people, and I choose you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
If there is something that we have heard and seen and experienced as the amazing, amazing father that Warras was, his presence, his intent, he loved his children like no other. We had Ethan on set on Friday nights, little young man who maybe one day we'll see on the same stage. Troy, Alice, we're with you today, and it breaks my heart, Ethan, to call you to stage to speak about your dad.
My dad, Warwick Thomas Robert Stock, was the most beautiful person to grace this country. My father always did everything in his power to make sure me and my family were okay and sound. Regardless of how he felt or his financial situation, he always made a way and had a plan. As a TV host or podcast presenter or DJ, he never failed to bring joy and smiles to the people listening and the people with him. Even if he knew what he said was controversial, he only spoke the truth. And obviously there would be people who disagree with what he says and his views, but he stood by what he thought was right. And that's the true definition of a courageous and resilient man. As a dad, however, my father was the complete opposite of how the media portrayed him. My father was the life of the party and the brightest light in every room. Whenever we needed someone, he was there. I remember when I was in hospital for 10 days. And throughout those 10 days, my father was with me. From 6 in the morning to 9 at night, whether you were sworn at by the security or the nurses, he stayed with me. He was there when I needed him the most. Whenever we needed guidance and whenever we needed advice, he was always there because he was the wisest in the family. Whenever we needed anything, he was always there to provide and give us what we wanted. He spoiled us all. He was always nice to everyone. He never acted like he was above anyone. He just acted out of pure love and respect for everyone. He was always kind and light-hearted. That was my father. My father was my hero. He's the person I look up to. He's my inspiration. He was my rock and my foundation. My dad's legacy will live through me and my little brothers, and I'll do everything in my power to make him proud. I love you, Dad. And I hope justice is served. Thank you.
I just want to take a moment to thank every single person who has shared today, shared your words, shared your memories, and shared your hearts. Really, what we've heard today reminds us that Warwick was deeply loved, treasured. He had impact in all of our lives, whether we knew him personally or experienced him through his work. To Warras' family, his friends, his loved ones, thank you for allowing us the honor of walking this journey with you, to remember our Shirley Looker. To everyone who knew him, we all knew how much love and positivity he had to give. So today I remind you to please be kind and love one another, and that we keep his legacy alive. We'd also like to take a moment to thank Marvin and PH. A huge thanks to the venue, the Galleria, for accommodating us today. Thank you to Brody Funerals for all they've done today and for the funeral, to the Wrapped Group, to the Real Network, Executive Mayor Councillor Dada Morero, Warras' friends and family who've stepped in to make this week and today possible, the media, Melanie Ramji from Two-Tone Communications. We're just going to take a moment to watch a few more tributes.
Warwick was a remarkable DJ and an unwavering advocate, and he dedicated his life to bringing joy to others, but also had the courage to stand against injustice. His passion for music was only matched by his fierce commitment to safety and community, and had this extraordinary ability to turn a dance floor into a haven. My friend, I pray that your legacy lives on in the hearts of those that you inspired and the lives that you have saved. And this is a reminder to all of us that true heroes are those who dare to act for the well-being of others. You were family-orientated. You were so bright, exceptionally talented, and genuinely interested in listening to the stories of others. I thank you for your friendship and for being such a beacon of hope and resilience in many people's lives. It is our duty to continue the work that you were not able to continue. It is our duty to continue the work that you had intended to do. And my friend, you will always be in my heart.
DJ Warras, painful, sudden, and just difficult to understand. What stays with me deeply is that I spoke to him the night before, around 6 p.m. You see, I called him for advice, and like the typical DJ Warras, always willing to listen, always willing to help, and always willing to share his authentic opinion about the situation I was facing. You see, DJ Warras was authentic. He spoke the truth, not to hurt, but to help. Not to impress, but to be real. He lived a life of truth. And sometimes truth is uncomfortable, but always necessary. Today we pray that his death will not be in vain. Let it wake us up. Let it wake us up from our comfort and our silence. Let it wake us up to the reality of our society and the South Africa we live in. It may it move us to care more deeply and to fight, not with hatred, not with violence, but with love and compassion for the South Africa we love so much. Rest in peace, my brother. You stood for something that was far greater than you. Your life mattered, and you will always be remembered in our hearts.
I just want to send condolences to Warras' family, children, mom. Look, I mean, in the rare or the few times that we interacted, he's always been an incredible energy, a great guy, a kind guy, always going to say something either funny or something that kind of like shows care. And the last time I interacted with him, he was actually reprimanding somebody to give me a call so they can get help from me, from the work that I do, and almost like reprimanding him as a in a way of love, you know. And that just speaks to the kind of person he was. He wanted to help people. He wanted to offer himself. He wanted to connect people. So others can be better, and it's sad that once again he leaves us in the process of doing God's work through His work. So may he rest in peace, and we have lost a rare energy that works in this industry. Peace to the family.
Warwick was a remarkable DJ and an unwavering advocate, and he dedicated his life to bringing joy to others, but also had the courage to stand against injustice. His passion for music was only matched by his fierce commitment to safety and community, and had this extraordinary ability to turn a dance floor into a haven. My friend, I pray that your legacy lives on in the hearts of those that you inspired and the lives that you have saved. And this is a reminder to all of us that true heroes are those who dare to act for the well-being of others. You were family-orientated. You were so bright, exceptionally talented, and genuinely interested in listening to the stories of others. I thank you for your friendship and for being such a beacon of hope and resilience in many people's lives. It is our duty to continue the work that you were not able to continue. It is our duty to continue the work that you had intended to do. And my friend, you will always be in my heart. Rest well.
Warras Mganam, for the past 13 years that I've known you, you've been nothing but an amazing friend to me and to many other people. From Ezanzugu, the Sewa FM, till now, Ishedi podcast and everything else that you do. Your passion for this country, your work, and your family were one of the most endearing parts of who you were. You always knew how to enjoy life. That's what I appreciated about you so much. Fullness, Pilubom, was a lived concept. You took up rooms and spaces with ease. Your pure talent was undeniable, Nganwam. You could talk to anyone about anything and everything. This isn't how you were meant to go. This wasn't the time for you to go. So yazi lon. Kodwa kumdali usizise apha. Yazi, what I'm going to miss about you the most is how you always indulged each and every one of those crazy business ideas we used to talk about. We pushed each other to do and be better. I'll always miss that, Kakul. But I promise to finish off my end of the goals. I'm just very broken that you won't be around to keep me honest. You weren't everyone's kettle of fish, Warwick. You were polarizing, but that's what the world needed. It needed a voice and you gave it one. We debated on many topics and we never agreed on everything, which is actually fine. No one is always meant to agree with you. Singabantu sonke, we have our differences. But your willingness to raise issues made you stand out amongst many who were scared to or couldn't. And you even went a stretch further. And you went on the ground to try and fix what you could when it came to the problems of this country. Now, as I read this message to you, I realize that this is my last conversation with you. And akumnandi kubuhlungu. Kodwa ke masikukhulule mngani wami. Kodwa ukulwa kona akuzuphela. Sizawulwela nawe. We won't stop the fight to win back our towns, our cities, our country. The fight that you started. Lala ngoxolo Warwick Stock. Ugqatso lakho lufezile. Ndiyabulela bhuti.
all the things I dreamed of doing as a broadcaster in this industry, I could have never thought today would be the day I have to stand on this stage and say goodbye to Warras. I am so sorry, and one last time I'm going to ask everyone to please say it with me. Take it easy.
And if it's easy,
Take it easy, Warras. You're home.